We have a bunch of people joining on this call, so huge. We'll give everyone a quick second to join. If you're able to go camera on, you guys know the drill. If you've been on a Skye Michaels or With Heart coaching training, we always love having cameras on. We always love seeing smiling faces. I can guarantee you guys are going to be participating, talking. This is not a class that you're just going to listen to me sort of drone on and on. If you're driving right now, that's totally cool. Helen, I appreciate you going camera on in the car with driving in your dining room. It looks like it's awesome. I love your background. And welcome everyone. We'll give it another minute here since we still got a bunch of people hopping in the Zoom. And to get us going, one quick thing, if you guys, we got people joining from all across the country. Brooke, I see your Kansas City on there. If you guys did want to add where you're joining us from, you can hover over your image on the Zoom and you can click the three little dots and then you can click rename and you can add what city you are joining us from. So this way we can sort of see where everyone is coming in from all across the country, which is very, very cool. And again, if you're able to go camera on, it's my favorite way to teach people when I'm looking at smiling, beautiful faces rather than black squares with your names on them. But if you're not able to go camera on, no worries whatsoever. So, welcome everyone to our free session. This session today is my goal I have today is to make sure we all sort of enjoy what happened this summer, right? I'm sure we took lots of great vacations. We had probably kids at home, or maybe kids going away to college, or whatever it might have been. But now it's time to start to gear up and get ready to go back into work. So that is the goal I have today to give everyone tips, tricks, tactics, emails. What are some of the top agents that I'm coaching around the country? What are they doing right now? And what are one or two things that you can pull off of this to leverage inside of your business? And just so you guys know, we are going to be sharing a tremendous amount of resources. You can obviously take notes, you can take pictures. We're going to share some links in the chat. But for the most part, every single thing we talk about today will be shared with you in a follow-up email as well. So if I'm moving fast or if I'm moving through something, just so you know, there will be a follow-up email coming after this that you're going to get everything. So you won't need to worry about missing anything as we go forward here. So, all right, well, let's get started here. As we go, you guys know we're going to be using the chat a lot. We're going to be using a lot of, I'm going to be calling on some people, probably having you unmute. And again, my goal today is to give you a tremendous amount of value. And what I get excited about, the fall market for me it's actually one of my favorite markets for many reasons. But let me pull up my slide deck here and we'll get our party started. Um, Present. Awesome. So, what I want to challenge every single person right now to think about is the reality is that the next 3 to 4 months that we have left in 2025 is a really exciting 3 to 4 months. And wherever you are in your goals for the year, it doesn't really matter because all you need to hyper focus on is the next 3 to 4 months. So, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about why this fall market in particular is extremely crucial. And I'm going to give you guys some insight into what I think is going to happen. But again, at the end of the day, what's really going to happen is the action you decide to take as we unfold over the next 3 months. And then we're going to talk, I'm going to go through 5 areas of what agents are doing right now. And I'm going to be giving you resources around that. And at the end, I'm going to end with a little bit of a preview of a training that I'm doing. And obviously, I would love for people to participate in this training. It's going to be my 30-day CMA Day challenge that we're going to kick off on September 9th. So I'm going to give you some information on that. But to get us going, put in the chat. Let's get the chat warmed up. As you guys know, I love, love, love using the chat to make sure you're participating in the call, make sure you're getting stuff out of here. So in the chat, if you don't mind, Trisha, stay on the mute too. Yeah, you got it. In the chat, let's put where you traveled this summer. What was one thing you did this summer that you can celebrate? And for 1 second, we'll all go back to one vacation that we took, sort of celebrate it as we sort of start to end the summer vacation. For some of us, the summer vacation is over. But I love seeing some of these locations come in. You guys traveled pretty well. New Orleans, Antigua, LA, New York. Medellin, Mexico, Europe. Man, you guys had a great summer. And like most of us over the summertime, we sort of enter the fall. Sometimes we feel energized, sometimes we feel depleted, sometimes we feel overwhelmed. Wherever you are, I want you to take a pause and just realize how critical this fall market is. So, as we enter this fall, let's get to chat. Another call and response in the chat. What is one word that describes how you're feeling about this fall market? And as you guys are putting that in, I'll explain why is the fall market so important and so critical. Number one, the fall market is a really short runway and it creates a lot of urgency. In my experience, the buyers and sellers that are reaching out to you in the fall are the ones that are really motivated. And so it presents this opportunity for us to really hyper focus in a very short window of time on people that are highly motivated on buying and selling. And we sort of have this window, right? Labor Day is Monday, and then you got Thanksgiving coming up. That window of time in between that, for the most part, if people are buying or selling there, they really usually need to buy. So it's an incredible time to focus on highly motivated clients, and the ones that are not motivated, try to set them up for 2026. So these are the first two bullet points are so key. The final thing is that everything that you do that you're going to get paid on in January, February, and March of 2026, the actions you take in September, October, November, maybe December are going to set you up for your closings in January, February, and March. So while it's hard for us to maybe grasp the fact that 2026 has started, it actually is starting right now. And I really want to challenge all of you as agents to adopt this mindset that the actions I do today are actually going to produce the paycheck that I'm going to get in January. So this is why it's extremely important that we hyper focus on the fall. We sort of kickstart all the good activities that we know we need to be doing, get those back in, get our routines going, get our health going, all the things that we need to do so that we enter 2026 in a beautiful way. Now, at the end of the day, what's not working? If you're waiting and worrying, this is not going to work for you. A lot of people this summer were just waiting for the business to come for them. And this generates a ton of anxiety and a ton of lack of results. The second thing is if you are disorganized and you don't have systems around your business, this is not going to work for you this fall. So if you feel like put the word me in the chat. If you feel that you need to work on your systems and your organization, put the word me if you need to work on your systems and your organization. My theory is almost all of us on this call should be putting the word me on. Now, if you decide not to work on it, that is not going to allow you to do a really nice business. And then the final thing, and this is a big one. This fall, you guys are going to be bombarded with all kinds of shiny penny syndrome, right? We are squirrels. As realtors, I am a realtor. We love the new thing. We love the shiny penny. And if all you do is chase that shiny penny around, right? If all you do is have that squirrel syndrome, this is not going to work for your business. Okay. We need to go back to the basics. We need to go back to the roots of this business. We need to go back to why we're selling real estate, which is all about helping people and building a great business that makes our lives better. And we can't just always, every day, every month, be chasing the new thing that's being marketed to you as realtors. So that's why this fall market is so important and so critical. And the final thing I want to give you for the fall, and this is a mantra that I've really adopted this year, less is more. Stop grinding and stop feeling you got to like do this hustle culture or 10x things. What I want to challenge you right now to think about is less is more. Sometimes the solution to this fall market is actually you deciding to say no to certain things and you deciding to do less. But the less that you do has to be purposeful. There has to be a purpose, a process, and a system behind what you're doing. So if you do less, it results in more. And that is this mindset shift that I'm going to try to weave into this training because I would love for all of you on this call to make more money by doing less work. But the key thing is if we do less work, the less that we do has to be impactful. It's so important and so critical. So as we get going here in the chat, I want you to think about the next 90 days. And in the chat, let's just put one thing. What's one word of what your focus is going to be on the next 90 days? Right? You only have 90 days. So you have September, October, November. What is your focus going to be? And let's all right now make a commitment that we are going to hyper focus on FaceTime with SOI, systems, CRM, like it is sales, closings, daily lead generation, SOI, systems. Awesome. You guys get it. This is what we're going to focus on. And as we're doing this, I'm going to really challenge you all to make sure we're keeping this mantra of less is more in focus. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk us through 5 areas of focus. And this is sort of called from what my agents that I coach, other agents that I interact with, other coaches I interact with. What are 5 areas that you can go back to this concept of less is more and be really purposeful as we build into the end of 2025. So the first thing I'm going to cover is AI. Now, I am covering this for a reason. It's because of the fact that almost every day now, I have people coming to me saying, "Hey, can you teach me about AI? Can you do this about AI? Hey, I saw this on Instagram about AI." When you guys hear this word AI, what does it do to you? And I'm going to show you in a second the slide. But I've never seen anything in recent memory that has created more excitement and made you more of a squirrel. The reality for everyone on this call, when you hear this word AI, I'm going to tell you it is one of the most powerful things that has been created in maybe history, right? Since Google or since the internet and searching, all of a sudden now we have this tool that is so incredibly powerful. These tools. But you guys hear this AI and you become a squirrel because the reality is there are hundreds. Oh, my slide didn't show up. There are hundreds of AI. I'm actually going to unshare. Give me a second because it shows up here. If you guys can see, I'm going to share. I don't know why, for some reason, it's not popping up, but you can see there are so many tools around AI that you can leverage. And if you guys are sitting there saying, "Oh, I need to use AI in my business," and you run around trying to learn everything that's out there, you are going to be in that squirrel syndrome and you're never going to create anything, right? Now, with that being said, you want to use AI. And my challenge to you, though, is that there are hundreds of AI systems that are out there. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, all these things that you can do on Instagram, on all these platforms. And you're going to talk to agents and hear coaches and hear trainings and be on Instagram and see stuff that is going to make you excited and try to chase it down. My recommendation to everyone on this call is this fall, you pick either 1, 2, or 3 at max AI platforms that will help you with very specific areas of your business. And for now, you forget the rest of them. So right now, or at the end of this call, or sometime today, just think of your business and think of what AI tool is out there that will help me with this very specific piece of my business. Now, 3 that I love, and I'm going to give you guys an example of these 3. Everyone on this call probably wants to make sure as we kick into the fall, you increase the amount of social media posts that you're doing, but you want them to look good. So there's a really incredible AI tool called CapCut. When I use this, so I have a social media marketing person that helps me and everything like that. But sometimes I'll use it, or I had a little gap where I didn't have one. I use CapCut, and all I had to do was upload pictures into a template. And I'm telling you guys, it created professional social media reels and videos that blew me away. So I'm giving you these 3 as an example of saying, okay, I'm an agent and I need help with social media. What AI tool is out there? Let me just pick one Because the reality is there's lots of other AI tools out there around social media that you can focus on. But today, I only want you to pick one that's going to help you and then hyper focus on it. Because if you try to do them all, it's going to really mess you up and it's going to spin you off into that squirrel syndrome. Now, for another area maybe that you need to work on in your business is your calendar or your schedule. So, an incredible AI tool is Calendly, right? So, you can automatically have people schedule with you based on the availability you have in your calendar. And literally, it's as easy as sending them a link. So now we eliminate the back and forth. You can text message a link. It's a really, really powerful tool. So that is a form of AI. And then obviously, anything and everything. If you need one tool that's going to pretty much help you with content creation, obviously hyper focusing on ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, right? One of those open AI sources. And the key thing this fall is when you focus on one of them, you pick out what are the prompts that I'm going to create and save and go from there. And then how do I make sure this tool is leveraged properly? So my point of giving you all guys all this is because I've heard so many people coming to me saying I need to learn about AI, but they don't know what that word means, right? And so what I want everyone to do today is to pick one area of your business. So in the chat, what is one area of your business that you feel you need help with? Is it marketing or social media or time management or email or whatever it might be? And then after that, go and find the AI tool that's going to help you the most. And this fall, you only worry about learning one tool, maybe two, at maximum, only implement three. If you guys get those implemented and you're great and they're knocked out, now you can add more. But again, do not concern yourself with learning every single AI tool that's out there. You will lose your mind. So that's number one. Everyone on this call should be learning about AI, but do not worry about learning everything that's out there. And when you hear that word AI, I want to challenge you to think of a very specific tool that's helping you in a very specific area of your business. Okay. So that's number one. Stay tuned, by the way. We are working on some AI training that will help you with this. And Trisha, I know, is excited about that as well. So, all right, the second area of focus is every single person on this call, you need to go deep with your relationships. The number one thing you need to do as we enter this fall is to challenge yourself to think about what can I do to rekindle and or deepen my relationships with the people I know. And this is what every top realtor that I'm working with is doing. Whether they're sending out gifts or they're planning events or they're doing easy text messages or they are creating fall maintenance guides with vendor lists that they're going to be sending out and via mail, whatever it might be, we right now need to dive really, really deep into our CRM and create conversations. This is something that I want everyone right now to think about. And we want to divide it up into just two easy categories. The people I know, and then the people I don't know. And these two categories, you're going to have different conversations you're going to create with these two categories. Now, the most common question that comes up when I say this to people that I want you to create conversations with people you know. And again, there are hundreds of ways we can do this, right? As you guys know, I love events. I love emails. I love mailed items. I would recommend sending a schedule of your NFL team maybe this fall. You can do a calendar for the fridge in December. There's all these things you can do, but I think right now, and what most of my agents are doing that is generating results is text messages. Text messages and leaning into sending out text messages to the people you know and the people you don't know are huge. And this is one of those things that the first resource I'm going to share with you guys is this. It's a bunch of text messages, and we're going to share this link with you, which will bring you to this document. And one of the things that I'm going to challenge you all to do is to take your database and every single day challenge yourself to be sending 10 text messages to people you know for the most part. The minute you work through every person you know, then you move on to the people you don't know. But until you've reached out to all the people you know via one text message, I would not spend any time on the people I don't know via text. So, with that being said, what I wanted to give everyone are text message options because agents sort of freeze when I bring this up and they don't know what to say. So, we're going to, again, this is all going to get shared with you guys, but inside of here, often we freeze because we're like, well, I don't want to be salesy or annoying. So there's all these text messages that are going to be in this document that you can edit and use and recreate in your words, that then you have a library that you can come back to and pick one, two, or three that become your go-to text messages. So really quick examples, right? Just reaching out to someone you know, hey, I was going through my records today. I came across your name, it made me smile. Or you could say, I was so happy to see it. It brought back some great memories of us working together. Hope all's well. Hope your summer went great, whatever it might be. Here's the key thing, guys. When you send this, don't ask them for anything. Two reasons we do this. Number one, we don't want to create stress or anxiety with the people we're reaching out to. If we ask them for something, even if we say, "How are you doing?" They may feel stressed that we're doing this for a reason or we're reaching out about something, but we're not saying it, right? When I just say, "Hey, I hope all's well," or "Hey, I hope you had a great summer," what it does, it lessens the anxiety on the receiving end. The second reason I do this is for you wonderful realtors on this call who all are story creating machines and all everything in your head, you're like, "Oh my God, they didn't text me back. They must hate me." And for you on this call, that's the reason we don't ask them for anything is that if they don't write us back, that's okay. We don't need to create a story because we didn't ask them for anything. So this is an example of a very simple text message that will produce tons of results for you guys. Another example is the drive-by, right? Everyone on this call, put the word me in the chat if you're showing houses in the next week. Anyone on this call that is showing houses in the next week, I would challenge you to go into your database, see who is in your database that's in that neighborhood, and in between those showings, send them this text message. Hey, I was driving by, etc. There's some other versions on here that I won't go through just because you guys can look at them, but asking people for help, huge way to generate conversations. If you have likely to sells, this is a great likely to sell text. You could do a funny one. Hey, I'm in a training, and the real estate trainer, Skye Michaels, it asked me to reach out to my favorite clients and let them know how grateful I am, right? And you guys get the idea. There's all these things that we can leverage and we can use inside of here with these text messages. Okay. So we need to focus this fall on deepening our relationships with our sphere of influence, the people we know. But then after you work through that, then you do want to be reaching out via text message, hopefully, to even people you don't know. And I'm going to give you guys a couple examples in a second as well on how we can do this. So that's just a small example. Again, there are other things we can do that I'm not going deeper on, like events and mailings and marketing emails and bulk emails and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, what I really want to stress, less is more. If everyone on this call made a commitment to just send one text message to every single person you knew in your database or your phone, I guarantee you would do a lot more business this fall and probably not even know what to do with just that simplicity of that message. Okay. So that's area of focus number two. Area of focus number three, oops, I misspelled that, is to maximize your listings. Okay. All of us on this call, if you have any listings, actually, if anyone has a listing coming up this fall, put the name of the street in the chat because we often underutilize one of our greatest assets, which is the listing. Clarendon, Collins Ave, Maplewood, Orange Grove, awesome. Every single person on this call right now that's putting a listing in, and my hope is that most of you have a lead or at least an upcoming listing. A lot of people wait. I was just on a bunch of coaching calls, and a lot of my agents are sort of this week is a little bit quiet. kids go back to school at least around here next week. So they're sort of holding off, but you guys need to maximize your listings. And what I want to stress is that this fall, as you start looking at your pipeline and your inventory, you should make it a goal that every single listing that you have becomes two additional sales. Either you produce a buyer out of it by some of the techniques we're going to talk about, or you produce another listing out of it through some of the techniques, or both, right? But on my goal, every single time I listed a home was to try to generate two additional sales out of that home. There's nothing more powerful in real estate than a listing because you have information that other people do not. And at a minimum, and this is on that less is more concept, right? Everyone on this call, you guys are great realtors, a lot of experience. You know, often you have your listing marketing plan probably already sketched out and you probably do a great job. But one of the things that people often miss is this first bullet point, right? That every single time you list a property, you should be reaching out to your sphere of influence who is in the immediate area. Don't reach out to everyone. That will get really annoying. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. I live in a town called in Lower Merion. It's right outside of Philadelphia, right? Are beautiful towns all around me. If my realtor sold me this house, I would only really care about listings that are in this neighborhood, right? It's great that my realtor got a listing 5 towns over or in the city of Philadelphia, but at the end of the day, what do I really care about? My neighborhood. And do I know people who may be moving there? Almost definitely. So I'm going to share with you guys a who do you know text message in a second. And every single listing you have, my recommendation is at the very minimum, you just add this little text message on top of it, on top of your process. In addition, let's make sure at the very least we are leveraging social media and again, there are all these little techniques you can use with social around new listings. And then finally, let's not forget the power of a strategic open house, right? If you do an open house where you go live on the market, or it depends on your market, maybe you do coming soon, 2 or 3 days, showing start on Friday, open house on Sunday, I can guarantee you're going to have an open house that's busting with activity. Now, if you do want to do more, I'm going to include on this, on the resources, a 3-stage listing marketing plan so you can do more. But this is an example of text messages that you can send. And I did this in an email and then another version as a text. This is a really great text message to send people that you know in the neighborhood. Hey, I got an exciting new listing coming up in Lower Merion. It's not on Zillow yet. Here's the general location. It's right near Suburban Square. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, about 1,500 square feet. The crazy thing, it's under $1 million in that neighborhood. Do you know anyone who might want a home like this? I can send you behind the scene details before it goes live. Just let me know. And the whole key here is if I sent that to everyone in my sphere around that listing, what I'm doing is giving them some really cool information that no one else has. And then B, I'm asking them in a really, really non-salesy way, hey, send me a referral if you know someone who's looking. And that's a huge asset that you guys can use. You also can turn it into an email. And the key thing here as realtors, we often want to overshare. The key to this technique is actually just sharing enough that they want to reach out to you, right? So this email, who do you know looking for a home like this? Same exact concept. Okay. Now, they're not on Zillow yet. You got to be a little careful with your rules in your MLS, timing of your listing. The reason I recommend this goes to your sphere is that, most likely your past clients are not going to, say anything that's going to get you in hot water with Zillow. But just be really aware if you do decide to use this is not on Zillow yet, make sure you're working to the rules that are out there and make sure you're being safe. Now, the other thing that's really great is that when we get a listing, a lot of us have lots of contacts in our CRM that we don't either care about. I call those people Sphere C, or we don't know, or we have lots of old leads that we've collected over the years. A lot of realtors just ignore them and never send them anything. So one way you could leverage this group of people is that every time you get a listing, and on this one, remember, we don't care as much about these people unsubscribing or not reading our emails because of the fact we don't know them and their leads, and our goal is really just to generate a conversation. This is I call this the deal of the month email of former CEO of Real Brokerage used to populate this as a deal of the week email. I love the technique. It does not work well with your sphere of influence, in my opinion. It works great with leads and people you don't know. And if you get a new listing, again, give them just enough, call it a deal of the month, and you can do that via text or an email. And again, I'm going to share these resources with you. But put the word me in the chat if you feel if you did this, at least one text message or one email to people you know and then to people you don't know on every listing. Do you feel like you would generate at least one or two more transactions in this fall? Excellent. So I really want to challenge you guys. This is so critical that as we move into the fall with purpose, and again, think of this concept, less is more. This is where we just take what we normally would do and we add a little bit of action to it that's purposeful. It will generate so many more results for you as agents. And this is the concept that I want everyone walking into the fall of less is more, but the less I do is way more purposeful. All right. And this is a big one. And I'm going to show you guys some really crazy stuff because I've been following as we all know, there's the lawsuit Compass versus Zillow. Zillow's being sued. I think it's by Homes CoStar, which owns homes.com, or there's all kinds of stuff going on. But I've been really, really studying and watching Zillow closely, especially over the last year and a half. And I've never been more convinced that Zillow is after your business than now. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things in a second here. But top agents right now are working so hard at Zillow-proofing their business. And this concept of Zillow-proofing your business comes back into several things. And I'm going to show you what Zillow is doing exactly because they're doing some really good things. Number one,
Why is the card not authorized? I'm so confused.
Trisha, get the mute. All right. Zillow, guys, cares about your clients more than you do. They care about your database more than you do. Let me rephrase that. Zillow cares about your database more than you do. Top agents right now are switching that around. You need to care about your connection to your clients more than Zillow does. We need to be bigger than our fears of reaching out. We need to be bigger than the things that hold us back from being organized or structured or consistent because Zillow is doing all those things. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing in a second. Number two, we need to rehumanize this business. There's one thing we can do that Zillow cannot do. That is insert humanity into the process. And we need to make people feel like they matter to us. And we can do that in many different ways, gifts, events, conversations, text messages, reaching out during times of crisis to see if they're okay. Lots of ways of doing this, but you got to wake up every day and say, how can I rehumanize my business? By doing the things Zillow cannot do. Zillow cannot make another person that you know feel like they matter. The other thing we need to do is we need to show the flaws in this estimate, the flaws in this like sort of third party valuation system that's going on. We need to highlight those flaws for our clients. I'm going to show you guys. I'm actually going to give you an email template to do just that. And then we need to act as financial advisors. We need to be talking to our clients about the value or what's happening in their neighborhoods. And when we do this, we are going to position ourselves as the go-to expert and we can Zillow-proof our business. Now, I'm going to show you a few things. I signed up for Zillow as a consumer account, and I've been actually recently, and starting in July, I started getting signed up. I started getting these emails, and I was like, whoa, this is like a really good newsletter campaign that Zillow is running. right? Stay up to date on the homes you love. Here's our summer launch, right? Here's some tools that are going to make your home a real. Again, not a huge newsletter, really effective. How competitive is your market, right? Here is a little bit of an economic update that Zillow sent out. If you guys can't see what they're doing, right? They are offering things of value to your sphere of influence, right? A fall housing market forecast, new offers, right? Here's a new offer that Zillow has. Top five house, you guys get the idea. Zillow is currently marketing to your clients probably a little bit better than you are. And if you think your clients don't have a Zillow or Realtor.com or a homes account, you're kidding yourself. Anyone buying a home has one of these accounts, if not multiples. And we have to recognize that the marketing they're doing, I actually love these headlines. These are good headlines for newsletters. So I would recommend all of you sign up for a public facing Zillow account and you can see what they're doing. And then you see the consistency that they're sending these messages out, right? It's almost like every other week or so, it feels like it's almost just enough where it piques my interest and I'm like, ooh, let me read this. And I'm in real estate. If I was a home buyer or a home seller, this really would get my attention. The other thing is that Zillow is doing everything they can to make it as easy as possible for a person to see a home, right? If you notice over here, I can request to see this property right now as early as 2 o'clock today. And what Zillow is preying upon with us is our addiction to easiness. Your sphere right now, if they're thinking about buying in 2026 or maybe at the end of 2025, they see how busy you are on Instagram. And what they're saying to themselves is, you know what? I don't want to bother Skye. I see how busy it is. So, you know what? We're not ready to buy yet, but let's just check out this property. Oh, wow. Hey, we can see this house in 20 minutes. Let's go. And what happens is you are losing your clients because of how easy Zillow is making it for them to see a home, see how much they're pre-qualified for, the steps to connect with an agent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all this stuff is being put out there. The other thing for home sellers, this is my house I own right here, sell for more on Zillow. They're marketing to your clients as if they could sell for more. My next door neighbors just sold their house for 795 and their house was better than mine. Guys, this is wrong. This is just a marketing ploy. I know for a fact that I wish I could sell it for that much. I know I can, right? But Zillow is doing all this stuff to capture your clients. So we need to work at Zillow proofing our business this fall. As we go forward, one of the things that you can do is you can highlight how wrong Zillow is with this email template. And this is an email template that is in the trainings of CMA Day. I'm going to give it to you guys in case you wanted to use it now. And again, I love telling a story, so there's a rationale. So I'll make this a little bigger. Hey, I hope you're doing well. The key thing I put in here, guys, I say I know you're not selling your home now. Put in the chat why you think I lead with that line. I'm curious if you guys can pick up on the rationale behind that. Let's see. Evelyn, less pressure. Beverly, perfect. Disarms. It removes stress, right? Provides service, takes all the pressure off. Excellent. You guys get it. Non-committal. The other reason I put that in is the fact that if they are selling their home, their desire is going to be to correct me. So number one, it takes all the pressure off. And it says to my client, this is not a solicitation, right? I'm not asking you to sell your home. But number two, if they are thinking of selling their home, it immediately says their immediate reaction will be like, oh my God, Skye, actually, I'm glad you sent this to us. We actually are considering selling. And what we need to do is we need to get ahead of this conversation. So what I tell a story, hey, did a recent inquiry from a client, their home, the estimate was off. But by the way, I didn't say good or bad. I just said it was off. Then I'd say I dove into Redfinrealtor.com, and that also showed varied estimates. And it made me think, are other homeowners like you curious about your property? So to provide a service, I created a market snapshot. And by the way, I did not give a value in this market snapshot. And you can do this using your MLS. You can do it with Cloud CMA. You can do it with Compass CMA. There's lots of techniques you can do this with, but you insert a link to a market snapshot, what's happened around their home. And then I recommend you do a link to Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. And what's really cool with this, and this is where AI can help you, right? This can be one of the ways that you use AI. I can go into ChatGPT and just say, can you give me the values or the website links for here? I'm going to do it live. Let's do it. I'm going to open up my ChatGPT here. You guys will see how easy this makes it. I'm going to say, can you give me the links to this home on, and let's see if this works. I'm hoping it goes the way I want it to. So what it does, searches it. And the reason I'm using ChatGPT is to make the process super, super easy and simple. And what it does, it gives me the direct links to this property. So now I don't need to go online. I just click right here, copy the links, insert them into this template, and then I send it away. My recommendation is then I would follow that up with a text message just so you have great communication. What do you guys think is going to happen when they click on all three of these links? Most likely, not guaranteed, but most likely, what do you think is going to happen? Is the price going to be exactly the same on all three links, or is it going to be different? Put in the chat what you think. The same or different? Different values. Perfect. And what I'm doing when I do this is I'm saying to the client, do not believe what's online. And this practice of sending this email is so powerful because this is one way that we can Zillow-proof our business. Because your client, when they get that and they click on all the links and they see all the information, number one, they view you as the source of truth now. Number two, you open up a door of conversation that if they're thinking of selling in the next year, most likely they're going to want to have a conversation with you. And they're most likely going to say, what do you think it's worth? After they do that, you schedule a time to either, walk through the home or meet with them. And again, the follow-up question to them would be, depends on why you're asking. If you're asking because you just are curious about your value, or you're doing like a refinance or pulling a line of credit and you just need to know roughly where your equity is, I can just stop by. I'll spend about 15 minutes walking through the home. You can show me any upgrades and I'll get you an estimate of value of what I think the value is. But if you're thinking of selling in the next year, I would actually love to have a little bit of a longer formal process where I can identify ways that you can actually make more money or safeguard your investment. So, depending upon what it is, I can help you. And that opens up this conversation. And when you do this, you take on the role of an advisor and you Zillow proof your business. It's not a guarantee that a client won't click on a link and go use Zillow. But I guarantee, guys, we are losing deals to Zillow we don't even know about or that you do know about. And this is one of the reasons why I am so adamant that we need to start to practice this. So the fifth area of focus, and this is a technique I teach all I really, really want my clients to be using. And I try to get every agent I talk to use. And it's a CMA day tactic. And the idea behind this is that if you guys leaned into this concept of sending one email a day to one past client around this Zillow proofing, right? And I call it the portfolio review. You can call it anything you want that makes sense to you. But one person a day, you send a CMA, you send them a text message to follow up, you update their contact in the CRM, and you make sure you set a reminder for either next year or you set a recurring reminder action plan for their home sale anniversary. And every year you deliver a market snapshot every single year. I can guarantee everyone on this call will amplify their business in such a tremendous way. The other benefit is that you're going to feel incredible about what you're doing because you're having great conversations with the people you care about, which are your past clients or your forever clients, or the people that weren't your clients but are in your sphere of influence. So this is, I would lean into this concept and set little challenges. I'm going to do 30 in the month of September. I'm going to do 10 in the month of September. I'm going to do 50. Depending on how much business you do, you might need to increase or decrease. Plus, this technique works for new agents, it works for experienced agents, and everyone in between. And it's a really, really powerful thing because you're delivering something of value that demonstrates your expertise and it gets in front of the Zillow conversation. So the CMA Day Challenge, just so everyone knows, this is a challenge that I'm running. This is, I think, the third time that I've taught this and run this. It is incredibly powerful. And the cost is 400 from and it starts on September 9th. It's 4 weeks, 30 days. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock for an hour. Tuesdays is about teaching, Thursdays is about doing. And my goal is to give everyone everything you need in order to do this in less than 15 minutes a day. And if you can get into this habit, and less is more, right? Of spending just 15 minutes a day building your business, this is what I'm going to hope that everyone on this call leans into and does. And basically, what you're building is this atomic habit or a small habit. The other thing you're doing is you're giving your clients a gift of value and starting a conversation. The one thing this is not, you are not giving them an unknown opinion of value on the home. When I say that, you guys are not doing what Zillow does, which is create an estimate unknown of what's inside that property, right? So when you guys do this, I'm going to stress this. You're only doing a market snapshot, not an opinion of value. Really critical. The other thing is this allows you to make sure you're doing this in under 15 minutes a day. Okay. And that's what this sort of challenge is. Again, this is a system. And if you guys lean into this, this is something you can do almost every day of your career. I'm also, you're going to get all kinds of stuff from me to make sure it's systematized. There's a tracking sheet that we're going to go through, email templates. What is the system? How do you use it? Text messages you can follow up with, vendor guides, because as we start to do this, a lot of people are going to say, hey, we're not selling, but we're thinking of redoing our kitchen. You want to be able to provide value. So, how do we provide value? And this is going to be a really great way for people to sort of kickstart your business in the month of September. Um, the other thing I do with almost all my trainings is that I guarantee that you will get a listing out of it. And I used to say a listing appointment. I'm actually, I know you'll get a listing out of this stuff. If you don't get a listing, I will refund your money. If you do 30 of these, I'd be shocked if no listings resulted from those activities. But you got to follow the whole system properly. If you do that and it doesn't work, I will refund your money. I guarantee that if you guys do this, it will work. And at the end of the day, systems are everything as we continue to move forward. As you can see, Zillow is using systems. We need to be better than Zillow. We need to be better than the companies that are coming after our clients. And we do that by being extremely systematic. So I hope you all decide to join. It would be an incredible training. And again, it kicks off on September 9th. So it's a really, really great time of year to sort of lean into this. And again, just make sure you get this going. So let me unshare, stop sharing. Awesome. All right, everyone. That was our free training for the day. I know it threw a lot at you. I'm going to be following this up with an email with links to all of those resources. But let me open it up now to any kind of Q&A, questions, thoughts you may have. All right, let's see. I'm going to call on some people. Jesse Scott, what's up, brother?
Hello, hello. What's going on?
Jesse, give me one question you got right now. It doesn't.
Um, I did the CMA day and I need to get back into it because it's awesome and I still have all this stuff. But yeah, I love that challenge. I think the one question I had was I was wondering if you've used Chat GPT agent in a way to maybe um, automate one of these 5 areas of focus.
It's a great question. I actually have not. Trisha, how about have you used it? Trisha's
Okay,
sort of like a resident tech person,
just
but it's a great
yeah,
question.
just I have to be honest with you. I've done a lot of research into agent AI, and I know the Chat GPT agent has a lot of problems with it. And like I've 30 years in tech, and I'm steering well away from the agents because they're not safe. To put it as simply as possible, you're opening your wallet, you're opening your door, you're opening your laptop to anything. And I don't think there's enough constraints in there on any agent AI in any platform, whatever you're using it, to really be 100% safe just yet. So I would steer clear of agent AI, but I would look at using your custom GPT. Are very good at doing a lot of this stuff. You can use that instead, and it's safe.
Yeah. And because Jesse, you give them all your passwords, you're left really vulnerable from a
That
tech
makes
side.
sense.
And I would
Yeah.
I would just give that one some time until they shore it up and find the holes. Oh, some of this technology is so new, guys, that they don't even know what it's capable of doing or what the vulnerabilities are. And unfortunately, there are, you got to be really careful when you start to dive into some of this. And Jesse, that's why like I teach simplicity, right? Less is more. Cool stuff out there, but sometimes we don't need it right now, and let it progress, let it mature, let it get to the point where you can actually use it in a good way. Does that make sense? Excellent question. Uh, Gail, good
Hey,
seeing you, my
hey, you
friend.
too.
Twice in a
Um,
week, right?
I know. Wow, we're so lucky. Um, so my question is, I know you're saying Tuesday, Thursday meetings or check-ins or whatever, but what if we have commitments at
Yep.
those times? Then how do we follow up?
Excellent question. Everything we do is recorded, and you'll have as Jesse said, Jesse did it, I think, in the springtime. Everything gets recorded. You can go watch the recordings. You'll have access to recordings for life, all the resources. So it's really effective in person. And Tuesdays calls are like teaching and learning, and then Thursdays it's almost like a structured work session where you're actually doing the work that we taught on Tuesday. So the goal here, you guys have taken a lot of real estate trainings, like you listen to some trainer online talk and then you don't do any of it. The goal here is you actually do the work. It's a key thing for me that's really critical in anything I do. Like you actually do the work so it sticks. You'll remember 10% of what I tell you. You'll remember 90% of what you actually do. So
Right.
that's the whole bridge that I cross. And for you, I mean, it's such a big thing for you because you have so many past clients and you want to reconnect with them in a value laden way. This gives you a really great way to do that,
Awesome.
right? Awesome.
Thank
Great
you.
question. Thank you. Let's see. Any other questions, comments?
Hey,
Cool.
Skye, what about using a virtual assistant or something for this?
If anyone on this call has an assistant or a virtual assistant, your assistant or virtual assistant can join for free. You don't need to double pay, and they can attend the call because if you put the word me in the chat, if you have a VA that helps you with your business. If you have a VA, awesome. This is a really great technique because if your VA learns it, the VA can actually draft most of your emails. And then all you need to do is go in, double check it, make sure it looks good, and send it, right? Or if you have an assistant. Yes, a personal assistant can join. Cheryl, if you have that, just shoot me an email. We'll make sure when we log you in. We just got to add them manually. But if anyone on this call has a VA or an assistant that can help you with the work, you by all means, it's a really powerful way to leverage it because of the fact, yeah, Andrew, like the email templates. You template the email, the VA, actually, you give them the names. You saw with ChatGPT how easy it is for the VA to get the links. They're just putting the links in. I think, Russell, you still might want to do like the market snapshot, but
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
yes, that's probably your area that you want to do, but then you just insert the link, email's ready to go. You probably can do this in less than 10 minutes per person.
Hey, talking about those, one other thing, talking about the text messages, would the Reach app be worth using for that?
Absolutely, because of the fact you can create neighborhood groups of people, like, right? So, people probably in like Stanford and Greenwich and in different areas. So as you get a listing, you're not sending it to everyone, you're just sending it to specific groups via text. So, and you already have the template in the Reach app. So the Reach app is super powerful. And we'll talk about that in the CMA Day training as well. So very cool.
Skye, got a question. So I was on the phone. Sorry. What do you have the dates yet and the times for your your thing? What is it?
Yes. September 9th is the first call, and it's going to be 4 weeks. So I think it ends on October 2nd. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock East Coast time. Tuesdays are training, like learning. Thursdays are doing. So
Okay.
training, John.
I just want to add that Reach app, phenomenal. And your clients respond better to text now than to emails. And I've been sending and trying to get my past clients to give us Google reviews, and it's so rare. But we did a Reach thing and just said, here's the link. We really appreciate it. If you can, make sure you put in Silicon Valley and trust. And we got 25% response, got 13 reviews literally in 3 days. And so we've got, I think we are going to sign up and put our virtual assistant in, but we have our virtual assistant, Pawn, who has been doing these equity reports on their home anniversaries. And so we'll probably sign up and have him come and do that. But so, and he's got it down. He can do this report in 10 minutes. And then he just sends it to Tanya and I, and we approve it and say, yeah, go send it. But yeah.
Leverage. And less is more, right?
It is. It's great.
Less is more. Great stuff, guys. Any other questions or amazing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I'm a huge, I cannot thank everyone enough. Great energy in the chat, great energy on the call. You guys are incredible. And I really want you all to know if there's anything I can do to help you, please reach out. I really want to encourage you to take this training. This is stuff, by the way, that I used with my team and that I used when I sold real estate. It is tried and true, and we're just adding a little bit of technology into it to make it really powerful, really effective. All right. So invest in yourselves and your business, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.